To the residents of Poway, I am now versed in the proper pronunciation of your fine city's name. As I learn, the name of the city of Poway, California, is indeed pronounced Poway. You have my apologies, and now on to news and notes. There's trouble on the city council in Poway, California, and it is bringing negative news to the city. In the last council meeting, the council voted 4-0 to censure fellow Councilmember Tony Blane. Now, I'll have more on what a censure is in a minute, but first, let's have a look at Poway. I'm Russ. This is News and Notes. There is the rest of the city council, and there is Councilmember Blane. And on the night of the censure vote, the majority of the council, all 4 of them, were in attendance. Councilmember Blane chose to miss the festivities, and that presumes he decided not to be there, as opposed to something preventing him from being able to make it to the meeting. There's only a few possibilities of what is causing Poway political infighting. It is all Councilmember Blane's fault. He has conducted himself improperly and is guilty of all he is accused of. The council majority is wrong. They are ganging up on the council member over political differences, possibly being assisted by the city staff. Or Councilmember Blane is correct and has his finger on shenanigans taking place in Poway. No matter which is true, Councilmember Blane or the majority are not handling this situation correctly. They're creating negative news, and that's a mistake. So, just briefly, what is a censure? Well, a censure on a city council member is a formal statement of disapproval issued by the city council against one of its members. What are its consequences? Well, none. And the reason for that is the council has no ability to remove another council member from the city council. That can only happen by the voters or if the council member should decide to resign. And I don't think anybody's resigning in this case. Weighing in on the matter is Poway Mayor Steve Voss.
Voss?
Aye. The people deserve representatives who will listen to them and act in their best interest. Mr. Blane, who engaged in vote trading, bribery, attempted extortion, and this wasn't just a request of another council member, it was a shakedown.
Wow, those are some pretty serious allegations. Now, I don't have an interview clip of Councilmember Blane, but the allegation is that he pressured another council member to vote his way, or he was going to engage in a recall of that council member. That might be a bit harsh. Is it illegal? Is it cause for censure? So in an email to another council member, Tony Blane wrote, "I'm trying to mend fences a little bit. I might be inclined to drop my recall effort on you if you vote to support a D1 special election on January 21st instead of a 2-year appointment. I will hold off filing my notice of recall on you until I see how you vote on the special election." Well, that might be playing hardball. But it's certainly nothing illegal about that. What's really at play in Poway is control of the council. Now, in a council that is split 3-2, the minority has some ability to affect outcomes, to press back against the majority view. But in a 4-1, you don't. You're alone. Procedurally, you are more than in a weak position. You're not going to prevail. For more on that, be on the lookout for my book scheduled for release this fall. It's as yet searching for a title, but it's going to provide a behind-the-scenes look at the workings of local government. Now, on the workings of government in Poway, the rancor is all about control of the city council, and the political divide run deep. There's a council seat coming vacant. The council majority wants to fill the vacancy by appointment. Obviously, that appointment assures the council member will be politically aligned with them. The lone council member, Blane, appears to have a significant following, and he and his supporters want a special election. All the better his chance of finding himself in a stronger position politically, and presumably to correct what he and his followers see as the wrong direction. Now, the censure vote was a political stunt, is my final assessment. Council majorities seem to like them for the show they provide. But instead of censure votes, the conversation should be about whether to hold a special election or not. Now, if a lot of time is left, the right move is to call a special election, and it appears there's 2 years left in a term that is becoming vacant. That is a lot of time. Now, there's always going to be those who are going to bring up the cost of a special election as a reason not to hold one. Most often, the people who bring that argument up are the people who are opposed to a special election. Elections are a part of doing business for a city. Cost is not a good argument. 300 residents of Poway agree. They've signed a petition calling for a special election. Hiram Soto, a resident of Poway who recently penned a guest column in the San Diego Union Tribune, is obviously well informed, and he makes a particularly good case for a special election. Now, Soto was a candidate for Poway City Council in 2022, and on the need for a special election, he sums it up pretty well. He points to the San Diego Board of Supervisors' unanimous decision to hold a special election to fill a vacancy there as a good example, and then he gets into the crux of the issues. I ran for Poway City Council in 2022 because of our city's troubled history with appointments. Since Steve Voss became mayor in 2014, Poway's council has been shaped by appointments. In one of the most controversial ones, the council appointed Kaylin Frank in 2018. That was shortly after she moved to Poway. Her appointment, loudly opposed by the community given her recent move to the city, set off a chain of decisions shaped more by insider interest than by the needs of Poway residents. Soto concludes, the issue in Poway is not about cost of an election, it's about control at all costs. It's also not about a weak political stunt bringing forward a media-grabbing censure vote. It's all about the residents deciding the direction of their city. Poway needs to get on with a special election. I'm Russ, and this is News and Notes.